then that grew into a game that we've developed, which Kevin is going to explain to you.
Great. This is, for those of you who have any background in improvisation, which I assume is most people, this game and the rest of the exercises we're going to show you are really just variations on what are fundamentally classic improvisational exercises or games in short-form competitive improv like you've seen on Whose Line. All we're trying to do is create or discover, I suppose, games that can exist in two worlds at the same time, which is a little more challenging than we expected. But let's get you guys out. Oh, actually, before we do that, this next game is going to be a variation of a game called Expert. Now, I can't actually see, oh, Alex, your face is in the live stream, real cute. I can't actually see our real audience, but I can see the live stream of our real audience. So would one of you guys be able to give me, what is a topic on which you would not expect a person to be an expert?
Other than virtual reality.
I'm sorry?
Other than virtual reality.
Thank you. Or something that you think is interesting that you don't think anyone else thinks is interesting.
Stock car racing.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So for this next exercise, I'm going to bring out Professor Rachel Shearer, who is fortunately an expert in stock car racing. She's here to give a talk to you guys for the next couple of minutes just about that. The challenge of this exercise is that Jeff is going to make his way down to the front of the stage and to the apron. And Jeff will be providing for Rachel all of her physical gestures. If you could demonstrate for us, Jeff, whatever it is that he does, however he moves, Rachel is going to have to mirror that movement. And while she's doing that, she's going to give us her lecture all about her new book, Stock Cars and You, A Future for Us Both. Ladies and gentlemen, would you give us a quick round of applause for Rachel Shearer.
Thank you to the myriad masses, even the people up high, the people in the air, the people with medium levels, the people who are in my hair. I'm delighted to be here tonight, specifically because it is so important to know about stock cars. The primary thing that you need to know is that they have a wheel. This is a directional wheel. It also has a shift gearbox that lets you go at different speeds, and the wheel loses direction. Omnidirectional, some might say? No, my friends. It only exists in two dimensions. So speed is an issue. Now, you people, why do we care about speed? And why do we care about how fast we can go? The question is answered clearly by Everest. Why would we want to climb Everest when we can just dance? That's my question. It's the same question with stock cars. Why do we want to move quickly when we can stop? Because we do. Stopping only takes us so far, and it makes us feel strong. So, when we're going in loops and loops and loops around a racetrack, the thing that we're trying to accomplish, obviously, is beating the inferior competition. We've trained very hard for this, and we are dealing with a majorly souped-up engine. Yeah! That's a little thing I like to do to get myself hyped up. Whether it's for motocross, F1, I don't really care. It's just important to get yourself in a majorly sucked zone.
Well, this has been very exciting. Professor Shearer, thank you so much. Do you have any final words for us?
Final words, I would say, everybody please register with Skip Car or get yourself behind a race car at some point in your life because you will not regret it.
Terrific. Thank you so much for your time. Now, our second speaker is, of course, coming to us from just down the street. Professor Jefferson Shearer is here to talk to us about a hobby that really I didn't know anybody had. Could you tell me what that is? I heard beekeeper from our virtual audience. Great. So, Jefferson, if you wouldn't mind telling us all about your new book, Beekeeping, Why Oh Why?
Yes, beekeeping, why oh why? Why oh why? Why oh why? Why keep bees? Well, I have a question for you. Do you like the earth? Do you like food? Because bees are very important to give you all the things you want. If you like eating honey, that's one thing. But if you like, I don't know, anything that's ever been pollinated, well then you better start keeping bees, my friend. Because bees are what it be's about. That's my not very good slogan, but that's what I'm working on. So imagine the bee flying from flower to flower. Imagine just airplaning between pistils and stamen, finding the most luscious piece of pollen it could find so it can make nectar back in its bee hive. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine it? Well, you, my friends, you can be a part of this. You, and all of it. Be a god! A god that controls bees!
Okay, well, thank you so much, Professor Shearer. This has gotten very strange. Do you have any last words to wrap up?
Well, basically, bee collapse is a real thing. See you, bees.
Thank you so much. What a weird afternoon of lectures this has been. Thank you very much. Great.
In every social VR world, there are different ways that you can express your avatar in different types of emotional states. In some of them, you can pull up different kinds of emojis, you can send little icons into the air in some of the platforms, and other ones you can type text to each other. And in high fidelity, they've created this panel called Emotes, which is Jeff is demonstrating right now.
I hope so.
Is demonstrating right now. There are these different emotional states that you can pull through. Thank you, Adrian, for pulling it up to show everybody. So our actors are going to move through these and this kind of made up game that we made just for working in fidelity. Kevin, take it over.
Another stalwart of the short form improv encyclopedia is what are called physical challenges. In this particular case, the challenge here is that each of them in this scene is going to have to work through every possible emote. Jeff will be working back to front, and Rachel will be working front to back. By the time both of them have accomplished all of the emotes, the scene will basically be over. And for this, I just need a simple suggestion. What was the last thing any of you here in the real, actual world, what was the last thing any of you guys bought at the store?
Milk.
Milk. Great. Players, you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Excuse me, this milk is sour. I bought it 3 weeks ago, and it is completely sour. I want to return it.
Well, Dan, it's good to see you too.
Sheila, my love? Oh, Sheila, I didn't know you worked here. I mean,
I can't believe you didn't even recognize me.
Oh, I have to sit down. Sit down.
Take your time, Dan.
Sit down. Just gonna sit down.
Yeah, no. Appropriate.
There we go.
Something you always had trouble with when you were younger.
Yes, well, you know, I'm getting older. I make the sounds when I get up and I sit down. So.
I just never expected to see you walk through my dairy barn doors again.
Oh, well, great for you. I guess you win. You win the relationship. You were the one who broke up with me.
Oh, I win? Woohoo! Ooh, I'm so excited. I win. Oh, look, I can dance. This is great. Did you really need to make this about one-upsmanship, Dan? After everything?
Listen to me. I'm talking to the security camera. Listen to the security camera. I want you to listen to this because I need to tell her something. When you broke up with me, it just turned that world upside down.
Holy cow.
Wait, hello. Yeah, hi. Where are you? I didn't expect that it actually had an impact on you, you know?
This is me waving to you now. Hello, let's not be on distant shores anymore. Let's brave the isthmus, right? The isthmus between our two eyes. Let's
Whoa, this is a major whoa. I'm feeling very off balance and I've had low blood sugar today.
No.
And I just, whoa! Okay, all right, listen, I don't want to point fingers here, but this is legitimately just because I just never in a million years expected that you would do this to me, that you would play with my emotions.
Were you looking at the security cameras?
Yeah, I was.
So many security cameras.
Well, you know, it's just easier. Sometimes it's a little aggressive to communicate face to face.
Wait. So just tell me, are you saying there's a chance we might get back together?
Well, I'll tell you this, Captain Obvious. Here's what I think of it. Hold on 1 second. I just need to collect my thoughts. And, wow, you've passed along your difficulty with sitting. To me, there we go.
Are you okay? Are you
No,
feeling
it's a lower lumbar thing. I've been writing some mental poetry to kind of work out my issues of what we went through. And this what it came down to is I just feel a lot of love from you.
Oh, yay!
All right, relax. Okay, you're still. Well,
You're not getting tired of me already, right?
no, I just wasn't comfortable with you looking at me and not the security camera.
Sorry. So now that we're back together, can you return this milk?
All right, very good. Thank you so much, guys.
Our last exercise takes us into something where Kevin will actually be joining our actors because he regularly has these conscience issues and moral dilemmas. So, Kevin, would you like to gather something from the audience?
That's true. That's fair. I have an active conscience problem. I don't know exactly what that means, but it's really unfortunate and difficult. But for me to start working through some of my issues, we've developed this game where you can tell me some of your issues, and really, all I need from you is to know a serious moral dilemma that you have dealt with, that you've wrestled with at some point in your life, or that you have a friend, if you'd rather, or a friend who's wrestling with a moral dilemma. I find that if I am able to sort of improvise my way through somebody else's morality, I can sort of have the vestiges of like a normal human moral compass. Does anybody have a moral dilemma for me?
Monogamy.
I'm sorry?
Monogamy?
Monogamy? Just generally? Yeah, no, I get that. I'm on my way backstage, start thinking about it. Excuse me.
Alright, Kevin's taking that issue backstage right now, and I'm going to talk through some of our favorite things to do, and the whole reason we're even making here is virtual reality. So we have some pretty exciting opportunities. One of the things that we can do in high fidelity is we work with things called wearables. So our actors are going to put some wearables on, and these are things where they can be animated, they are like sort of props and things, and the accessories. They're going to now put these wearables on, and then they're going to play with a couple of other things that they will show you. So they're just pulling up right now on their tablets for you here. You can actually see, I think, on this monitor here, what Jeff is doing on his tablet. So Jeff's just added these like gorgeous red yellow waves. And Rachel's going to pull some rings out as well. We're having a small technical issue. Just small technical issues, so we'll be working on that. And then, Jeff, do you want to play with your scale here?
I so badly do.
Jeff definitely does. So Jeff's going to shrink some size and themselves down to the smaller size. And then, his supposed to do that. Now it can be teeny tiny or not. And then, from there, we're going to fly in the air. So these are things that we can be doing in virtual reality. We play with size, we drop the hat. Normally, we would do something like this. I'll see you in the way. Surprise. But we Secrets. Demonstrating a virtual audience.
Not yet.
Not yet.
She doesn't have wings yet. She hasn't graduated from very school, but it's already on it. Yeah. It's got a little bit. Like this, right? Double. And Rachel is more.
You're ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna drive.
Right. Sure. Feel free. Rachel, close your eyes.
Yeah, no problem.
Take it easy.
Stephen is moving out from desktop mode right now.
I wish
Just
we
like
could
in
have it
real
like
theater.
actual life.
No.
And if I started coaching in real life, someone's like, I got it, I'm gonna run.
Keep trying, Jack.
Well, that's impressive.
Can you get that vertical? Almost.
There we go. For your order.
Oh, great. Now with the ordering and fidelity and hopefully we'll manifest. There it is. Yay!
Yay.
Excellent. Great.
Well, I can't let Jeff be the only one who's timing. So, let's see if we can make this happen.
Audio here.
Bibbidi bobbidi boop.
Rachel screeching down, beautiful, and she'll fly up, and I'm gonna let them take it from here. Perfect. Our three favorite things in virtual reality: wearables, scale, flying.
Good. Unfortunately, my flag isn't working at the moment. But, but I am very tired.
Rachel, I'll fix that for you.
That sounds great. Thank you. Oh man, can you do my taxes?
Oh boy, I can't. You're super late, Rachel.
Yeah. Oh. Is that it's April, right?
Yeah. It'll be fine.
Sounds good. Yeah. Pretty.
Yeah, she did it fine.
All right. Let's see. Hooray! Oh. Thank you.
Okay. So, I was going to talk to you guys about these problems I've been thinking about. I've been dating a handful of people, all of them super exciting, super charming. And the one that I've been spending the most time with really wants to spend time, just exclusively. And I got to tell you, I don't really understand the ins and outs of all that. I'm not entirely sure what to do with that. I've never really been a one-horse town kind of person. Oh, if only I had some kind of mechanism to help me navigate these decisions.
Gavin. Hello. On your right.
Oh,
Yeah, the voice is good, all things fine. Me. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So, let's chat for just a second.
Yeah.
Do you, I don't know what love is?
I know how it feels. I know what it. I know it when I see it.
It's not art, it's love.
Oh.
So,
Then yeah, sure. It's how I feel about everyone that I am dating. It's how I feel about most sandwiches, boats. Generally, the concept of boats. I love boats.
I see where you're going with this. And I do think we, as individuals, have a lot of love to share. And here's what I'm going to advise you.
Share it with everyone. Love everywhere. Just put love everywhere you go. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think you were just gonna have the angels device up here? Up here, Debbie. There you go. Here I am. Here's the thing. Get as much love as you can. Don't tell anybody what you're doing.
That makes sense. It does feel like a very personal set of.
Because it's one of those things, if you try to experience, love with a bunch of different people, everybody's going to get upset. So maybe just keep it to yourself.
Well, why would everybody get upset, though, if I try to share love with a bunch of people? It seems like a very warm and positive concept, right? Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. I think a lot of people have the wrong idea about love. It's really just meant for a one-to-one scenario. I say, sow your love everywhere. Tell everyone you love them, every single person you meet.
I don't usually agree with it. I feel like maybe we're we're not all talking about the same thing. I'm gonna have a side conference with Angel over here. Just a minute.
All right, okay. What's going on then? Hey, what?
Well,
That's what you get.
I think I just fell off the robot.
That's what you get.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway, I'm up here. So,
Just have to be ahead. Okay.
here's the thing. We're talking about love and the other thing.
Well, love, the true expression of self, the feeling
Yeah,
of
but you know how there's the part that humans do where they like, you know that kind of part?
I don't know, it's been a long time since I've been in a physical body, so I never speak to that side, but I do think you should absolutely share your blessed, wonderful love with the entire world. Love this person, love that person, love everybody, as much as possible.
Alright, I gotta ask you this clearly.
Yeah.
Do you know about the birds and the bees?
That is the least clear way you could ask that question.
Do you know what sexual intercourse is?
Yeah, of course I do. I told you I'm dating like a whole slew of people, right? What do you think we spend our time doing? Going on boats?
Okay, well, oh, good. Alright, so we're on the same page. Angel thinks we're just talking about loving people.
Oh, no, I meant the physical act of love. I think it should happen everywhere.
Oh!
Well, this was a
This is
very
first.
easy good. Oh,
We
yeah.
all agree!
Yeah, you know what? I like you guys a lot.
Alright. Hey, you wanna grab a drink or something?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Is there some manna from heaven or something like that? I just
Something like that.
sounds fantastic. Off we go.
All right. I was going to try to scale back down for the end of that, but I can't or even fit through the wings currently. Another problem that I have all the time in real life. But that's about it for the performative element of the show. So I myself, I'm just gonna go back. I'm gonna go to the back of the house, and I'm gonna get out of this headset, and I'm gonna let Kira talk to you guys some more. Thank you so much.
Yes, that's about wraps all of our performance in the virtual world. So thank you so much, virtual audience. Give yourselves a round of applause. They're in high fidelity. Thank you guys. And for we're going to help you out of headset.
Oh my god. I feel like when I take the head off, I look like Donald Trump.
Well, hi everybody.
Yeah, it's a lot more people at the end of this than there was at the beginning.
There you go. Are you all
I get that like 12 parts out of 12 parts. No, not yet. I give that 10 parts out of 10.
It's interesting though,
Like
thinking
the
to myself, like I'm kind of, whether I'm watching the screen to see the sort of virtual thing or trying to sort of pay attention to people in the room, I just wonder from like a sort of
I think they
performance
should
thing,
have had the
especially something as like sensitive as
putting
comedy,
in more parts.
what are the sort
You're
of,
a
like,
really
unique
particular audience
challenges
there, aren't you?
performing virtually or in person or trying to do both
I
at the
do.
same time? Is there like a dynamic shift in that? Does that make sense?
Have to wait for it to walk over.
I think they were distracted by the.
I'm so sorry. Would you mind?
Sorry, the audience is
Basically,
The audience is actually talking about our performance right now. It's really hard not to focus.
that basically, the virtual performance versus the real performance, there would be very different elements, for instance, the emotes or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like you're saying, okay, now I'm having this strong emotion, but you're not physically doing that thing, and there's this sort of complicated relationship between what you're doing. There's an active translation in there. It's not normally there, and I guess I just wonder how you feel about it as a performance.
I think, to speak just briefly to long form improv versus short form improv, I think that informs some of the question that you're asking about. So I'm not sure how educated everyone here is about that, but just as a brief highlight, long form improv tends to be a little bit more scenic and involves inhabiting more characters, doing a bit more grounded in emotional scenes. Short form improv tends to be a little bit more like, who among us has ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway? Some people. So the idea is that the improv in those scenarios is set up a bit more as games, and that's why it's called short form. They're shorter games. And the idea, thank you. And the idea behind these short form games is rapid fire, immediate reactions, and to really accomplish the goal of the game. And of course, to layer emotionality and character and narrative and scene work on top of it as much as possible. But it's certainly it's a faster and more rapid fire scenario.
And a lot of it, and a lot of it is about giving yourself difficult things to do.
Yes.
So with that,
it's performing in spite of the challenges that you have.
And I find, I don't know if you find it, but doing those like fake movements it's a fun thing to do, but it doesn't. Yeah, I don't feel grounded. Like it.
Yep, I totally agree. I think one of the fun things to try to layer over it is to have these mechanisms that you absolutely have to work with, and then also to try to find moments for emotional connection or any kind of through line or narrative in there. But it is an absolute, if Yale School of Drama students are digging into meaty, weighty works, I think it would maybe be a little bit of a distraction to have a pratfall in the middle of it, and I can understand why that might trip you up. But it can be a really inspiring source of new information when you're reacting to something that isn't coming directly from your brain and coming from an outside force. Does that address that? Okay, terrific.
So some of like what you do to adapt into the virtual world, and for instance, most of the constraints come from the technology or the headsets or lighting and control and tracking. And some of that comes, some of that comes from the software of the particular platform you're using from high fidelity. But are things that you think about from the software side, like the design of platforms that the people making high fidelity or other environments could do to improve what you can do with this kind of work?
Oh, what a great question.
Maybe also for Kevin, but
I mean, we've been talking about that a lot, and that's a lot of what our part of this process is about, is trying to figure out what we need in order to create live theater in VR. So there are some basic things about UX design that we've been learning. High Fidelity has made a certain set of choices using the tablet metaphor. Some of the other social VR platforms have made other choices in terms of UX design. None of them are really tuned for performers who need to be able to do certain things really on the fly, right? So without going into detail, that yes, we think about that a lot, and there are a lot of things that we would want to add into the system.
One of the things that we've been talking about is, like the idea of having less responsibility for some of the aspects of what people are seeing other than just being in our bodies, really. So we were talking about how great it would be to sort of have a goth person, changing our costumes or the lighting or where we are, or, all these things that you can't do, things that you can specifically do in virtual reality that you could, kind of do on stage, but it would be great to just play that out. What happens if we're in the middle of space right away?
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think one thing that I would love is, and I think we were talking a little bit earlier about proprioception, the sense of your feeling of self in the space. And it's a little bit difficult to gauge when you can't really see your own actions. So I think it would be super helpful to have some sort of innate mirror or some sort of visibility so that you can actually see how close you are to others, how you're interacting with others without necessarily having to do physical motions to go with it.
There is a third person option in High Fidelity that we have messed with a little bit, but it is a whole separate set of speed bumps in terms of immersion. And so, we're going to get there.
And then specifically, High Fidelity has built out a speech management system, so there's some opportunities where we can have some control over the space, the design, besides just the creator tools within the platform. We can also set lighting cues and audio cues and some basic things. So that's been really great that their team has built those aspects for us.
It's going through some like these right now.
Yeah. Unless you're a bioluminescent Swedish chef.
So that's something that we have the good fortunes to do, but every platform is built differently, and no social VR platform is built specifically for theatrical performance. So we're just playing with what's given, and then what's great about some of these platforms is we're able to kind of work with these engineers and broaden, because they're learning from us as we're learning with them, and everyone is so experimental in this VR landscape right now.
writers who are writing for this computer?
Yes.
Question from our audience in the real world, do we know any writers who are writing for this medium right now? Yes, we are as a team right now, and there are other teams as well. There is a group called Tender Claws that's working with a theater company called Piehole, which is doing The Under Presents, which is a live theater and sort of exploratory world that is a multi-hour experience. There is Drumming Close, which is an experience that was done with the National Film Board of Canada and National Theatre England. And David has worked with the production of Hamlet, so that was Shakespeare.
Shakespeare is definitely writing for virtual reality.
Yeah, but there
Grounded.
are companies that are exploring this and that's coming here specifically for this.
Sort of opens up new areas for facilities.
Yeah.
And the whole idea that it can do things that are, you can do really crazy wild things there that are safe. Set design. I'm really interested in how these
There really are fireworks, flying reactors in, we don't need to put them in harnesses, and there's a lot of liability issues that we can overcome.
I also, if I can jump on that, I also think I've been producing theater for almost 20 years. I don't think there is a discipline in the commercial independent theater process that is not made better with virtual reality as a toolkit. I think that on average, legitimately, I think that we could be saving $200,000 per production, just in terms of before we even get to first rehearsal. There's no application in theater that doesn't need a moment where we can do the thing before building the thing. And truly, it's like, this incredible perfect art form, whatever. But it's super antiquated, and it's expensive because you have to get there in the room before you can do so much of the work. And if I could bring in a set designer who then brings in the model and puts an Oculus Quest on everybody's face and walks them through that model, that's 3 weeks of rehearsal adjustment that we don't have to worry about. And that's, I think, an extraordinarily easy baseline opportunity. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention, Kevin and I were just down in Miami for TCG, it's the country's largest national theater conference, and we gave a workshop, which is, these are all traditional theater people, many of whom don't deal with technology in any capacity, and we got a great response showing them ways that you can use this, not for a show that ultimately is going to be in VR, AR, but a traditional show where this is there as a prototyping tool, a workshopping tool. You don't even need to be showing the final versions of things. It can be very early. We've played with showing set designers, costume designers, how to draw inside programs like Tilt Brush just to work through ideas. And what was also cool about this is right now we're all in the same room, but for Kevin and I's workshop, we had Kira and David and Mark remoting in from New York City so that people in Miami could have this really interesting dialogue with them. So that kind of stuff gets really exciting as well.
Yeah, if I in Miami hand a prop over to Kira in New York, every theater maker in that room's minds were like, what? We can do what? It was awesome. I was really expecting a lot of pushback, and they were all like, let's do this, let's save that money! It was exciting.
Just want to make sure everybody's aware. So the people that you're seeing in the virtual audience are not here. We've had some friends from New York join in. I think that some people who are just high fidelity users sort of stumbled into the domain at some point. They are all somewhere else. And so one of the magical things that we can do is create a piece of live theater where people can come together from anywhere in the world and experience that together. So it's partly, for me, it's about how we can recreate the communal experience and sort of the important civic role that theater used to play, using this new technology and using telepresence to recreate that in the art.
Should we plug our remaining events over the next couple days?
Oh yeah, we should. Right. While we're on the topic, Alex is going to give a talk tomorrow morning about a sort of different end of this, which is talking about the performance capture, and he's put together a demo where we've got an actor who we captured with volumetric video and also with photograph. And so we'll talk about that process. That's
Yes. 11, I think, maybe it's 10. Kevin directed the piece, and it's also available for viewing on Magic Leap as well as Oculus Quest and Mirage Solo. I don't know who knows what those are. Pastoral, cool stuff. And then, sure, don't you have anything on Saturday? Oh, sorry, is there another thing from you? No, okay, never mind. Sorry. Sorry. The schedule's very confusing. Yeah.
Question. So the adaptation of the architecture of the theater presents a lot of opportunities, and I'm wondering why VR has this kind of question about infinite view, 360, and I'm just curious why the theater in VR.
I have a short answer. Yeah, because it's one thing at a time, is my answer. Because we specifically have been dealing with this, I think, in a pretty academic mindset of how much like real theater is this? And as we start to make one choice at a time that is not like real theater, how does that affect our experience? And so I think all of us, truthfully, High Fidelity, God love them. It was the greatest gift I have ever been given as a theater maker. They were like, here's your theater. And I think all of us were like, oh, it's great, we love it. And it's not super conducive to watching a show in virtual reality. We find that users want to be very interactive and moving around, and so asking them to sit in the seat is maybe not the ideal theatrical experience for an audience in VR. But as a learning experience, I think it's like a pretty direct translation question.
So this kind of came out of our case study where our actors gravitated towards being on stage. We actually brought some of them, especially those that were doing the contemporary drama that they wrote and the television scenes, we brought them into we'll put you in as closely as a world as we can get to it. We'll put you in an apartment, we'll give you that environment that your sister already lives in. And they actually found their way to much more neutral spaces, and many of them found their path to the theater. So we found that we just needed a kind of basic black box, so we used many different virtual worlds within High Fidelity. And in fact, part of the reason we even came to improv is because one of our domains crashed, and I took the actors into something called Portalarium, which no longer exists. It was a space where you could watch virtual movies with each other, with friends, sort of like a drive-in movie theater. And then the movies caves, and I was like, well, I'll just take the actors in a cave and go over those scenes, and nobody will find us. And the avatars in High Fidelity found us. They absolutely found themselves in the cave, and they started to play along with our actors. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, we need to be doing something far more playful. Improv is the way to go, and let's make it as experiential and immersive as we can. So we want to be living in a more interactive and immersive place, and that will be in a place that helps us break this black box, but we have to start with the space first. So something that we're all developing as a team next is kind of take our audience out of these things and bring them on the stage and see what that can turn into. That will also require us to develop other kinds of user experience rules and social conventions that don't really exist because we don't have bodies in this space. So there's a lot of other potential for great imaginary things or very politely terrible.
If I may add, so it's really weird that we're talking to this microphone. I don't know if the people that are saying that we are still there and listening to us. But it makes us feel very
someone wait.
Hey, little friend.
Thanks for so what I wanted to say though is that there are no established conventions for being an audience in virtual reality, just like there are no real conventions for being a performer in virtual reality. We are trying to explore those things. So as Kevin said, start baby steps one thing at a time. And part of it was, well, let's create a space where the audience can at least sort of vaguely get the sense, oh yes, I'm an audience, I am going to be watching this show, without really having to feel like they have to participate. Because I think if you jump straight into an immersive theater piece like Sleep No More, which you could do fantastic things in VR and things like that, then the audience is going to jump in there and be like, I don't know what I am supposed to do, right? So it's partly about learning about what the audience experience is and how we can guide them to have the experience that we want to share with them, right? So again, it's just, again, starting with sort of what's familiar and comfortable in the real world, is how we're going to start to work on that. Yes?
Can you speak more on the new ecosystem, what happened here, like how they work together, because, one holding the mic and I saw you doing something over there, kind of like the whole, backstage crew.
Sure, yeah. So, how many people are familiar with the HTC Vive VR headset?
Oh, that's so cool.
So the
different than
HTC
TCG.
Vive, just so you know that it's one of the current high-end virtual reality headsets that are available. This is the Vive Pro. Thank you very much for CPAM for letting us use these. This is a higher resolution headset than a lot of the other consumer headsets. The way it works is each of these little dimples is a little infrared receiver, and there are 4 boxes that you probably can't really see up here that are infrared, that are blasting infrared light out, projecting it. You're all being irradiated. Projecting infrared light in pulses, and the headset with all these receivers is detecting that and sort of figuring out where it is in the physical space. So that's how the hand motion is tracked. The controllers also have those receivers, and the little pieces, the pucks that they were wearing on their tailbone and on their feet. Jeff is demonstrating them. All use the same system. So using that, each of these devices can figure out where it is in the physical space. So that's how the tracking system works. The reason that we were using this microphone for Rachel is because for some reason, right before the show started, this computer stopped recognizing the microphone that's built into this headset. So VR headsets do have their own mics, just because they have their own microphones. But the tech is all still, finding its way. And sometimes things just kind of freak out. Sometimes we just have to. Was that?
Yes, and also who knows what to do in some of them. Somebody's like, you're on computer one, somebody else on the user. It's just kind of like, it's more dynamic. This computer you're watching, you're sending us the productions for us in here, but also you're sending the packet here for the one running. But knowing what to do, like if you're in the theater, this is the lightning sitting over there, this is the computer, this is the one, backstage manager. Is that also the rationale here?
Yeah, in a sense. We have been working on this for basically a year, learning the tech, learning the system, learning about what performance in VR is like, bringing in the actors and getting them used to the equipment and stuff. So we have sort of figured out, okay, these are the kinds of things that we want to have set up. This is really the first time that we've had kind of all of the pieces together at once. So this has been a really great opportunity for us to experiment, where we've had a real live virtual audience and a real live IRL audience. So part of it has been us improvising and figuring it out. But we did know that Adrian here was running the camera that was on that projector. At the same time, he's recording that, so we'll have documentation. I've been running a camera that's on that projector, and we're also recording it. We're also using this machine as the audio interface for play. So some of those things we figured out as we were setting up today. And some of them are things that we just sort of developed as we moved.
Well, real quick on that, one issue we discovered in the past is with audio bleed. So if we have 2 actors and their mics are picking up each other, you can get feedback problems. But the nice thing about when that's happening properly is you saw probably with Jeff, like his mouth would move when he was talking, and we weren't able to get that with Rachel because of audio issues. So we're always ready for a backup solution.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Please reach out and be in touch.
Thank you.
Ice cream. Give her ice cream. Here, that's real.
He's like, you want that more than that?
Stay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I had a quick question about the flying. I've always, everybody I've seen who has like vertical motion, like especially going down, I was like, sorry, I don't know how to say flying forward, like accelerate, decelerate, kind of stop feeling that. Because like one of our VA initially forward, and that was a huge impact, so we got rid of that. But you still have control of it. I didn't know.
That is a good part. You know, like you take notes and
yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah, I saw on your guys' screen that it's like, I was initially really worried. I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna like get locked into this really weird motion. But I saw that like your perspective stays the same. It's just I also feel like I'm kind of really seeing your body sit down with the stance. I've seen like head bounce has been doing that. There's like in a lot of like traditional bands you have head bounce and walking. I guess if you're listening, when you go in VR, it's like, you know, it's really bad.
The one thing I know you have your eyes open when
oh yeah, I've had it before where like it'll like something will get in the way of one of our lighthouses and I'll get like I'll move and it's not moving. It will move without me moving. It's the I feel like the lack the vibe is better than the ones I've tried because I've done GSVR, which is really cool. I've got one for like 45 minutes now. There's some vibe underneath it. Yeah, once you get like all the stuff adjusted right, yeah, you really get it. Yeah. Yeah, it's because you have all this movement that's like not really there. While they're VR. Because you guys talking about you can't see yourself, so like you don't know how you're standing. You have to like feel your body move against different things. That's why yeah.